What's going on, YouTube? Welcome back, Salsa Ninjas. My name is Herman, and I'll be your dance instructor. In today's video, we're gonna talk about finding the right teacher, especially for the beginners out there who are feeling stuck. You guys are feeling overwhelmed, or you guys are feeling maybe like you're hopeless. Same thing happened to me when I was growing up. On several different occasions in my life, I had people try to teach me how to dance salsa, and I thought that it was me. I thought that I was hopeless. I thought that I had two left feet. I thought that the dancing just wasn't for me, that I was never gonna get it. I thought that I was born without talent, and that the dancing was only reserved for those people who were just like given a gift, and if you didn't have that, there was no way for you to learn. And so I had given up on it, from really early. I remember my grandma, she tried teaching me with my aunt, and she played music, and she started going through the steps. She started telling me okay, you gotta do this with your feet, and then you gotta move your hips, and then you gotta shake your shoulders, and then you gotta feel the music. But that's the most important. You gotta feel the music, and that's how you know when to step. And to me, growing up, I'm extremely analytical, extremely logical. And when she told me that, you gotta move your hips, shake your shoulders, feel the music, I didn't feel anything. I didn't know how to move. I mean, she just barely did the steps, and she's like, all right, now you do it. And to me, that was just confusing. And in the end, I actually end up getting frustrated and overwhelmed. And I'm I don't know how to listen to the music. When do you start? What do you do? And so I felt like I had no rhythm. I felt like I had two left feet. And I told her, I said, hey, dancing is super silly. Why do I need it anyway? And I end up giving up on it. And so I know this happens to a lot of my students. A lot of students come to me and they're like, whoa, somebody else tried teaching me, or I had this experience before and I just couldn't get it. They had given up a long time ago and thought whoa, dancing is not for me. And they come in here with that attitude, okay, I'm here, but I don't think I can learn because I don't, I have two left feet, or they're scared and they're terrified because they think they're just not gonna get this. And so for me, same thing happened many years later after that. So when I was in high school, I remember I used to go to these parties, these quinces, which are parties for kids that are 15 years old. I used to go, and I remember watching these two kids, every single party, there's two kids. When they would play salsa music, girls would make lines, two lines for these two kids. They would line up to dance with them. And I always remember thinking, man, I wish I was these two kids. I wish I knew what I was doing. I wish I knew how to dance salsa so that I could have the skills, and girls would want to line up to dance with me. And so that was a big motivator for me. But I remember watching these two kids, and one night at a party, a couple of us were watching one of these two kids dancing, and we were just hating between a couple of guys. But he saw us watching him. We honestly, we just wanted to be him. He saw us watching him, and he actually, after the song was over, he came to us and he's like, hey, you guys want to learn to dance? You guys want to learn the steps? And I thought yes, this is my moment. I'm going to learn the skills, and girls are going to be lining up to dance with me. So he actually, he's like, come over here, guys. And he calls us, and then he's like, all right, I'm going to teach you guys the basic step. And he starts going through these steps. And he's like, here's where you put your foot. Here's how you do this. And then you just feel the music. And then the same thing happened again. I tried following him. I couldn't get it. And I'm like, no, that was my chance. I wanted to learn how to do this so I could have girls lining up at me. And I just couldn't get it. I also remember getting frustrated then, but it was more like, I really wish now. Now I didn't think it was silly. Now I actually wanted to learn how to dance because I wanted to have the skills that he had. But back then I just remember feeling like I had two left feet, like I was hopeless. And this was another time. Another time I had another family member, the same thing, try teaching me and nothing. And kids at parties would try teaching me the steps and I couldn't get it. And so for many, many years, growing up, I used to think like, this dancing thing is just never gonna happen for me. Well, fast forward many years later, I had actually graduated high school. I had 6 months off, I had taken time for myself. And I was looking to become more outgoing, more social, because back then I used to be addicted to video games. I was complete, like, introvert, really shy, and my social skills were really terrible. And I was looking to become more outgoing, more social, and one of the things that occurred to me is like, okay, dancing is something that if I master, I feel like it could definitely get me a lot more confidence. It could put me in situations where I have to become more sociable, get me to step out of my shell. So, but I was too shy that I had two left feet. And so I one day told my dad, I'm like, hey, listen, Dad, I want to learn how to dance. And he's like, I know where you could go. There's a place really close by. There's a dance studio there. They teach people how to dance salsa. I went one time, it seemed really awesome. You should go and check it out. And I'm like, oh my God, I was terrified. Fears, the flashbacks were coming back. The visions were coming back of when I was young and I had two left feet and I would go to a party and I'd be terrified and just like the butterflies and being nervous, like me wanting to do it, but I was so scared that I was gonna make a fool out of myself, that I was gonna have two left feet, that I was gonna step all over somebody, and the same thoughts were coming back. And I'm like, okay, I'm possibly gonna show up to this studio and there's gonna be this guy with like this slicked back hair with a ponytail, like Dancing with the Stars, with an open shirt, really fit and muscular, and there's gonna be this girl who's gonna be in a mini skirt and she was gonna be amazing and they were both gonna be dancing and I was just gonna be there, the loser that didn't know how to dance. And so that image kept on replaying in my head. On top of that, I grew up in a family that when I was a kid, my uncles were teenagers. They were really insecure back then. And so everything that people did or anything that they did between themselves, they would make fun of each other all the time. And so I grew up to be very shy and introverted. And like, I just kept on remembering thinking, like, if I go to the studio, like, what if they laugh at me? What if they make fun of me? And like, what if I'm the worst one and I'm hopeless and I'm terrible? And I know that I have two left feet, so how am I even gonna do this? And so those things kept on replaying in my head. Anyway, to make the story shorter, I actually did end up going to the classes. The only way I was able to convince myself to go was to say, well, it's a new city. Nobody knows me over here. I don't have any friends that are taking salsa lessons. Nobody's gonna know me over there. If I end up going, and the ponytail guys there with a mini skirt, and I end up looking like a complete fool, then whatever. I mean, I'll just never be back. So if I hated it, I was just never gonna be back. That was what I said to myself. I end up going to the classes, and I end up on the way over there. I remember feeling nervous. I was scared. I show up to the place. There were all kinds of people. At the beginning, I signed up for the classes, but luckily, slicked hair back guy wasn't there, and the mini skirt wasn't there either. And so there were actually, everybody was normal, friendly people, young, older, kids, and like people who were all complete beginners, who were all terrified, who were all thinking the same thing I was thinking. They didn't want to make a fool of themselves. And so I actually took the lesson and I really enjoyed myself. But the most important thing is that I found an instructor. So that person who taught that class, you know, I'm like I said, I'm very analytical, and he broke things down so simple, so easy. He made the steps like baby steps. He kept on breaking things down. He would first show it, and I would be like, oh my God, how are we gonna do this? And then he would take the steps little by little, break them down, and to the point where I was following the steps, kind of like if you were following a formula or a recipe for a cake. And little by little, that class, like, I actually got it. I didn't do like amazing, but I actually walked out of there learning something and not feeling like I couldn't do it anymore. I'm like, oh, like, I could actually do this. I don't have 2 left feet. It dawned on me, I didn't have the right teacher. I didn't have the right method. I actually went back again, same thing. The person kept on breaking the steps down, making it more simple. He would take every class, it would become a little bit more complicated, but the teacher was really good at taking this complicated thing and simplifying it over here. And so I was able to take the pieces and start, like, I would remember what he would say, and even after the class, like, I would go home and alone in my room, I would like remember, okay, hand up, whatever, feet goes here, and I would practice by myself. And you know, the amazing thing happened. I kept coming back to class, and this teacher was really good, and he was able to break things down, and I started getting better, and I started getting better, and I started getting better, and my confidence started coming and going up a little bit. I started meeting people. The classes everybody was really friendly. One of the most awesome things is that in one class, immediately you get a chance to meet a bunch of people. And so it's super awesome that way. I started becoming more outgoing little by little, and over the years, I've been dancing now for over 10 years. Now I'm a dance instructor, and yes, now I actually do go to a party, and I have some girls that are coming to dance with me. So that's really cool. But the most important thing is that salsa changed my life. It gave me a lot of confidence. It changed my outlook, and so, you know, I'm extremely grateful. My beautiful girlfriend, I met her through salsa dancing. So, and with her, we've been able to open up this awesome dance studio. So it came around full circle, you know. So salsa changed my life, but you know, if it wasn't because I found an instructor who made things simple and who broke things down, you know, I would have thought that I had 2 left feet and that I was just never gonna get it. So if you're stuck in that same position, if you think like you're just hopeless and that you don't have the talent, you don't have the gift of dance, like, just trust me, it's not you. It's possibly that you have the wrong method. You have the teacher who's teaching you might be a good dancer. There's a difference between being good at dancing and being good at breaking things down. So if I leave you with something, is that, you know, good dancer doesn't necessarily mean good teacher. My grandma, amazing, natural born dancer. She has a lot of rhythm, but she couldn't explain to me back then what I needed in order for me to do the steps. So, like I said, you just gotta find the right method and the right teacher. And if you're analytical like me, and if you need to know the formula and the recipe, and if you don't want to make a fool out of yourself, find yourself the right teacher. And if you're here, you subscribe. I'm not the right teacher, but I have the method. I can help you out. So click here, give me a thumbs up, Subscribe here for more salsa content. If you need help, whatever I could do for you, let me know. Leave me a comment down below if you enjoy the story, if you could relate to it, if you're in that same position. Let me know what your biggest questions are when it comes to salsa dancing, and I'll be able to help you out. And if you want to check out my online courses, everything for beginners, for intermediates, for advanced students, everything. For very beginners, people with 2 left feet, go to salsaninja.com, where I'm going to be able to walk you by the hand and take your salsa skills, take your dancing to the next level. Okay guys, so thank you so much for listening. Subscribe here for more free salsa content, and see you soon.